All right, how I sound now? Okay, there we go. All right, sorry about that, y'all. I know the chat probably like, what the hell? Like, why are you just playing lo-fi and you're just showing off a screen? But okay, then if that's the case, okay, there we go. All right, let me. Sorry about that, y'all. I know the chat probably like, what the hell? Like, why are you just playing lo-fi and you're just showing off a screen? But okay, then if that's the case, okay, there we go. All right, let me. Sorry about that, y'all. I know the chat probably like, what the hell? Like, why are you just playing lo-fi and you're just showing off the screen? But okay, then if that's the case, okay, there we go. All right, let me. I know the give me 1 second. I'll be right back. All right, we back. Sorry about that, y'all. Audio was acting mad weird. But hopefully y'all can hear everything. Let's do a quick test to see how that's going. All right, y'all hear me? All right, y'all hear me? All right, so we're Gucci there. All right, cool. All right, so as I was trying to say before sound decided didn't want to work, y'all can shoot questions in here at any time. My neighbors are super loud, which is kind of fucked up. I'm not even saying that when I'm loud my damn self. But so back to the article a bit. Let's go back to the article real quick. As I was trying to say, you can see on the screen, there was breaking news earlier that Oscar Isaac will be playing Solid Snake in Metal Gear Solid movie. What I was trying to say in the video before you couldn't hear anything was, does this mean that Sony has the rights Sony has the rights completely to Metal Gear? And does that mean we're going to get an announcement soon that Sony has bought Konami out? Or they just bought out Metal Gear Solid? Which I don't think Konami would just sell to make a quick buck. But we'll see. I'm very interested in seeing what happens with this movie. We haven't had very good video. We haven't had a lot of good video game movies, but hopefully we can get some good ones soon. We can get some good ones soon, and we can get some ones that actually are worth replay value. But I want to get off that because that was just a breaking news that I saw, but I wanted to kind of intro this channel real quick. So, I know you guys watched I hope you all watched the Saturday stream that I did, both of them in the restream. Even though, and I don't know, by the way, if it says restream on there, that doesn't mean that it's a restream of the restream. It's just a company I'm going through to restream everything. Restream will put this on Twitter, Facebook, not Instagram, thank God, because Instagram will DCMA me to high hell. And YouTube all at the same time. And also we'll keep recording of this. So that's really dope for anyone starting up. And it's a low price, not a heavy price you gotta pay for it, anything like that. But this is the video game corner. This is Tesla's video game corner. We go over video games. Won't be so much video game playing. I'm probably push that into next year when I get a PS5 because PS5s are hard to get right now. If you don't know, PS5 scalpers are out there and they are real, man. Them bots are incredible, which is probably the reason I don't have one. I quite literally, this is kind of a tangent. I was on the Best Buy website store the week before Thanksgiving, had money to buy a PS5, was on the website, and in 4 minutes flat sold out. And I'm quite sure everyone else has horror stories of how they tried to get one and couldn't get one, but you see how that is. This channel will be more so talking about video game discussions, video game news, topics I want to talk about, unpopular opinions I have regarding games. There might be some guests on here every now and then. We'll see. But I hope you all enjoy this. It won't be a long show, it won't be a super long show, but be just long enough to where you can sink your teeth into it. And I'll be taking clips from this and putting this on YouTube and other places as well. But on to one of the bigger topics I have. I only really have 3 topics. The first topic was more so about the console wars. So I am an avid gamer. I've had pretty much every system growing up. I have a PS4 over there somewhere. Not over there somewhere. PS4 in my house. You see behind me, the Nintendo Switch is right there. I don't get a lot of use out of that, really. I play, don't get me wrong. I do play the hell out of it. But I haven't bought many games for it. A lot of the games that I want to buy, I'm waiting for. So like Metroid, I'm probably gonna get the new Zelda game that's coming out, but I really want to wait till Breath of the Wild drops. Metroid. I want to get Mario Kart for it. I probably will get Mario Kart, but Mario Kart is a game that's better enjoyed online or with people. And due to COVID, it's kind of hard to play with people. And Smash Brothers, I'm not gonna lie to y'all, I've never been a fan of Smash Brothers. I will only get it if I had people over, but when I found out that for this Smash Brothers, you have to actually go through and unlock every character, I was like, I don't have the time for that. There are other games that I am playing that we'll bring up later that I would much rather spend my time and go and get. But in regards to the first topic, Xbox versus Sony. This has always been a debate that's kind of caused party lines. You know, people will say one system is better than the other. Like, oh, well, my graphical card is better than your graphical card. Or we have these games, we have these games. And to a degree, I'm on that. I've been on different sides of the fence on that, and I know have friends that are on different sides of the fence, and we've had debates on this. I want to preface this one saying I am team PlayStation. But at this point, going forward with this new console generation with the Xbox Series Xbox Series S, the Xbox Series X, which I mentioned the E, but I have a joke where I basically believe Microsoft at this point should just make a Xbox Series E, so we can call this era, this console generation for Xbox, the Xbox Sex era. Between those two systems and the S and the X, not the E. Between those two systems and the PlayStation 5, which is a monster of a system. What is going to ultimately, and even the Nintendo Switch to somewhat, and Nintendo Switch Lite, all that kind of stuff. Is there really a console war going forward? And my answer to that would be no. I am of the belief that you all can comment on this now or post of this video dropping. The next console war won't be a console war. It will be more so a war over who has what developer. And what I mean by that is, if you look at the moves that both Microsoft and Sony are making, they're making moves to own developers. Perfect example. Spider-Man is on PS4, PS5 only. Insomniac creates that game. PlayStation bought out Insomniac so they can have that game exclusively for their system. It's kind of funny because technically, Insomniac's game, the game they made before they made Spider-Man, was Sunset Overdrive, which was only for the Xbox. So Xbox had a chance to buy them out and didn't, and we see that cost them. Microsoft just spent, I want to say, how much money? They spent it was a good bit of money. I will say that. They spent, if I can get the exact number, let me get the exact number. For ZeniMax Media, they spent, how much is it? Because it has to be on here. Let's go to Wikipedia real quick. They spent $7.5 billion. Now, that is an astronomical number to spend on any video game developer. For two reasons. Number one, that's $7.5 billion that you got to make back. I like Bethesda. I think Bethesda does a really great job with the games they make, the Elder Scrolls games, the Frankenstein, Wolfenstein games, all those kind of games. I don't think those games are big enough to I don't think they can bring you in $7.5 billion. Essentially what Microsoft is saying is, we're gambling. We're basically saying that this company is going to make us $200 million short of all four Avengers movies. All four Avengers movies combined, short of $200 million, is what Microsoft spent on ZeniMax Media. Do I think that ultimately they'll make some money off of it? Sure. But the problem with that is, and Microsoft's biggest issue is, Microsoft has been very adamant on saying, we aren't going to be console exclusive. And while that's great, and that's an honorable thing to have, then you give me no reason to really buy the game. On your version at least, because I can buy it on PlayStation or Nintendo, which now you're partnering with them. So if some of the games that are from ZeniMax are going to come to Nintendo and Xbox, what's the purpose of me buying Nintendo? I'm sorry, Xbox. And to a degree, I mean, you could go out and legitimately buy a smartphone, a controller, get Xbox Game Pass, and be done with it, and you technically own an Xbox to a degree. But I think they're gonna have to go exclusive with certain games to push console sales. And this is something that one of my homies, and speaking of consoles, I kind of want to bring up something my homie sent me regarding the PlayStation, and I want to see if I can find it. But it was about a PlayStation PSP. Which, yeah, T3.com, which isn't really reliable, but we'll see. So I close this up real quick. Let's close that. All right, let's close that. All right, and then we're gonna screen share. Okay, let's screen share. Chrome tab. All right, where is it? Okay. So, what's crazy about this is that, let's see. Oh, here we go. Let's do that real quick. All right. So, what is kind of insane about this article is the fact that, to a degree, you have it to where, let's put it right here. Oh no, spotlight that. There we go. All right, let's move that. Let's move this dumb thing out the way. No one cares about you. All right. If this is true and you're able to get PS5 level games on a Nintendo Switch level of a PSP, that could change a lot of things. The question was that I kind of brought to my crew last night, and we'll probably go into this more on the What Kind of Black Nerd Cast is, which, by the way, you should be following. You should be watching both our YouTube channel at What Kind of Black Nerd Cast is this on YouTube. You follow the Facebook page, the Twitter, the Instagram. Join the group page. We're really funny in there. It's a great community of people. We accept anyone and everyone. But the question I kind of brought up with everyone, and we'll probably get into it more on the podcast, is this going to be a third option for the PS5? Will this be something that gamers can easily go, okay, I have three options here. I can get a PS5 standard edition with a disc. I can get a PS5 digital edition, or I can get this PSP level with a docking station. Kind of like, oop, don't want to drop that. Kind of like, well, if I can unplug this bloody thing. Kind of like this bad boy. And let's bring up my screen real quick. Kind of like this bad boy. I know it's dusty. Don't judge. If Sony's able to drop something like this, where you could easily have a PS5 level game in something like this, that would change a lot of things. Because this is, I'll say the Switch is what, 1080p at best. If you're telling me we can get 4K level graphics on a console, a handheld console, especially if it's smaller than this, which I don't think it would be. For it to run that kind of processor, it would, like, for it to be that powerful, it would need to be as big as this, if not bigger. The bigger question with this is not going to have to do with not only the size of this, it's going to have to do with something that Nintendo has down pat, that Sony's going to have to figure out. It is this. These discs. These little SD card level. Oh, I have an SD card right here for my SP404. This is a 32 gig SD card. 32 gigs can hold you about maybe 3.5 hours of gameplay. Or actually a 3.5 hour movie too. This is a Nintendo Switch. If you can see that. This is the Nintendo Switch. Pull that down over here real quick. This is the Nintendo Switch disc or thumb drive or whatever you want to call it. It doesn't even say how big this thing is. So the question with this is ultimately, can Sony figure out a way to ultimately have something to where what up, Joe? I asked you a question in one second. Can Sony figure out a way to actually do this in their own system and it'd be dope and it not burn out on you? But even Nintendo is doing away with the dock end of this year. They are, but I don't see why. I get it. You want to move away from mobile gaming, but in this time frame where everyone is in the house doing quarantine across the world now, because numbers spiking across the planet again, which again, I can't believe I say this. Wash your ass, wear your mask. Please wear a mask. Stay indoors if you have to. But if hit a hop from FB, I hope Facebook isn't fucking up for me, but it's Facebook. Who knows? But if Sony can do something to that effect, that could change the game. That could change the gaming world right there. I think that would be a huge get for Sony, and especially if you could launch a God of War or a Horizon Zero Dawn or Returnal or whatever other games you have coming out, you can launch something like that on that bad boy. That'd be interesting. I would have to give Sony credit if they could pull that off. Let's see. Is it finished? Okay, it is. All right, let's. And then, sorry, y'all, I had to do something real quick for a colleague. Okay. All right. They should get that. Okay, but if this is possible and Sony's able to pull this off, that'd be really interesting. But the point I want to get to with the console wars is, again, I don't think there will be anymore. I think Sony is ultimately going to win game-wise. I think if you look at the game they dropped just this year alone, they dropped Ghost of Tsushima, The Last of Us 2, and Miles Morales. They could have really just dropped one of these games this year and been done with it, in all honesty. I think all three companies have issues. I think, and that, I'm sorry, I had to jump around. That is Sony's biggest issue. And I think all three companies have issues. I think Nintendo's biggest issue, they refuse to work with anybody outside their facility. They're kind of warming up to Microsoft and all that kind of stuff with in the other companies, but that's the biggest issue. And I'm sorry, in today's economy, Mario Kart, The Legend of Zelda, and Smash Brothers are not enough to sell a console that's supposed to be 4 to 5 years use. It's just not. Sony's biggest issue is they have extremely great exclusive games, but their pacing is horrible. What I mean by that is, this year alone, you dropped Miles Morales at the end of the year. You dropped Ghost of Tsushima in July, and then in May you dropped The Last of Us 2. You legitimately could have dropped just The Last of Us 2 and then put Miles Morales and Ghost of Tsushima as a PS5 drop titles, and that would have been fine. Hell, you could have easily done it to where Ghost of Tsushima was the launch title and Miles Morales didn't come out till next year. We didn't need that game to come out. Granted, I think all three of them are Game of the Year worthy. We'll get into that in a minute. But that's the biggest issue with Sony. And it's going to continue like this. I mean, Sony is kind of like Marvel Disney, the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and they drop a lot of content that people eat up, but it's never like, it's almost borderlining on too much. Like when I see Marvel said they're going to drop 7 to 8 products a year, I get kind of worried. I'm like, I'm going to be burned out. But then I'm not, but then I kind of am at the same time. Xbox's biggest issue is Xbox. I've said this before and I'll say it again. And I've said it, people who know me will know what I'm about to say here. You cannot tell me that if you have 19 companies, 19 developers under your umbrella, that the only games you are willing to push and put heavy money into are Halo, Gears, and Forza. That is an issue. I want y'all to think about this. Gears 5 came out, last year? And they're still promoting Gears 5. We just now got a Fable announcement in July. Fable hasn't been touched for years. That is an issue that Microsoft has to get over. They have to start putting more investment in not only into their other older IPs that have made them money and been successful before, but they have got to go out on a limb and push IPs and projects that are brand spanking new, that their fan base does not know, and build a trust to where they're like, oh shit, Xbox is dropping a game. What is it? Ooh, maybe I need to go play it. I want y'all to think about this. Did anyone know about Ghost of Tsushima prior to coming out? I want y'all, seriously, Sucker Punch made that game. Sucker Punch prior to that had just come off making Infamous. We were under the mindset, oh, they're gonna make more Infamous games, and then we'll be cool, and make an Infamous 4, which everyone's still waiting for. Trust me. If you make those games, cool. They turn around during Paris Games Week and drop this. Oh, we're gonna make this game that's about a 18th century samurai fighting against the Mongolian Empire, as a ninja assassin in Japan. What? Think of God of War. God of War was a hack and slash. Its entire lineage. You didn't change the entire format of that game and make it a father-son story game that's more story than it is action. You look at games like Returnal. You look at Last of Us Part 2. You look at Spider-Man, which arguably Spider-Man is one of the few games. Spider-Man one of the few superhero games I've ever played to where I didn't want to play a mission. Spider-Man's gotten so good to where you could just really jump in the game and swing around for hours and be so excited with that. Spider-Man took over the superhero franchise of gaming in a year. And then came back literally, a year and a half later and dropped a sequel game to it. Arguably, it wasn't as long as the first game, but still was a good game. It's still a good game as a story and as a package. One of the highlights of this year. When people saw that trailer, people were losing it. I was here losing because I didn't know what it was. But that is all three systems problem. And I think going forward, they're going to solve these, but this is not going to be anymore about what console sells the most. It's going to be about who owns what. And the way I see it, I think the next big shoe is going to drop. I think with that news we talked about earlier with Oscar Isaac, with the whole Metal Gear Solid thing, I think by end of next year, Sony will have control or vested licensing over Konami and Square Enix. Square Enix, for them to say Final Fantasy 16 is going to be a PS5 exclusive, a time exclusive. That's the second game they've done this. Final Fantasy 7 Remake Part 1 was a time exclusive, and it won't officially be on the time officially ends around January of next year. So, and Square Enix has not had a good go of games since Kingdom Hearts 3. I mean, if you think about it, sure, the games might get a lot of publicity before they come out, but no one's talking about them now. I think the only game they got nominated for the Game Awards, and we'll check that out in a minute, is Final Fantasy 7. I think Sony was going to end up owning both of those, or they're going to end up owning partial ownership of both of those. I think I can easily see. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking, Joe. I'm thinking it's like they've been real interesting. Like they've been wording it very weirdly, but we'll see. I wouldn't be surprised if it is a console exclusive. That is a huge blow to Xbox, but we'll see. Yeah, I'm really interested in seeing what happens with that. But to keep the clock kind of going, we'll look at the Game Awards. So the Game Awards are next week. I will be doing a live stream reaction to that. So we'll be reacting to the live stream the same way we're doing with the whole picture-in-picture thing. We're reacting to that. And I'm going to go through here. We're going to look at the Game Awards and see who should win what. As we all know, the Game Awards this year are going to be all virtual. They've already announced some of the people that are going to be there. So Reggie from Nintendo, Phil Spencer, Sean Layden will be there. They'll all be on the stage. They'll all be on the stage. Talk about. Oh no, I'm sorry, it won't be. They might be. Sean Layden might be there. Sean Layden, Phil Spencer, and Reggie might be there. What do we never know? They said Brie Larson, Gal Gadot, Troy Baker, and Stephen A. Smith. Why do they have a Stephen A. Smith at the Game Awards? Okay, I get it. Make your money, brother. I'm not gonna hate a man about a black man making his money, but we're gonna go through these Game Awards together. I'm gonna give you my predictions as to who. Oh, I forgot Cyberpunk. Cyberpunk next week. Now, Cyberpunk is one of those. Before we do the Game Awards, Cyberpunk is one of those games that I want to buy, but I'm going to wait till I get a PS5 to buy. Trust me, I will probably know everything about that game prior to buying it. Someone's going to spoil it for me. I know for sure. But I am going to buy that game for PS5. I think a game like that looks too good on on 1080p. In 4K, it looks even better. The only issue I have with Cyberpunk, I think the role of Cyberpunk has been a 9.5 out of 10. The only issue I have with Cyberpunk's rollout is they waited to the last damn minute to tell us what the base of the story was. That last trailer that they dropped, you could have dropped that last E3, and that would have given us excitement as to what is going on in this game. To now say, oh, Keanu Reeves' character is a biochip that in order to save it, after you steal it, you put it in your head, and he's trying to take control over you. Congrats about that, Joe. I know Disney event is next week. And I know what's going to be shown there, so that's gonna be really dope. But that's for sure. But we're gonna get into these Game Awards and see who should win what. So let's go through the Game Awards. Let's see, share. All right, so we're going to go through this bit by bit, and these are the official games that are going to be that are up for the game of the year. So we're going to start. Let's start at the bottom. Let's start at the bottom. So we're starting from the bottom. Now we're here. All right. So we're going to start from the bottom. If the page will load, and it will. All right. So let's start. Let's just look at the game that got multiple nominations. So The Last of Us Part 2, most nominations. The game I'm surprised that got more nominations than Ghost of Tsushima and Final Fantasy VII Remake is Hades. Hades, I didn't see anybody playing this game. This game is amazing. If you have not played Hades, do yourself a favor and play that game. The game is really, really funny. It's really, really good. As someone that does not like top-down games, this made me change my mind on that. Look at the story, it made me change my mind. So yeah, Last of Us Part 2 got 10 nominations. Hades got 8. Ghost of Tsushima got 7. FF7 Remake Part 1 got 6. Doom Eternal's Fall Guys, Half-Life Alyx got 4. Animal Crossing got 3 with the rest of this group, including Valorant and Fortnite. Among Us, Apex Legends, Valhalla, Warzone, Destiny 2, Genshin Impact, my friends are trying to get me to play, No Man's Sky, and Miles Morales all got 2 awards. So a lot of these awards are pretty much heavy hitters I thought they were going to be. Let's look through here and go through each of them. I'm not going to do the esports because I know that I'm on Twitch doing this, but I don't know a lot about the esports guys. I'm hoping. Well, we'll do game. We'll do game. I think if I had to guess, on these. I think Golden Boy will win esports host. I think Call of Duty League or the Overwatch Grand Finals will win best esport event. Coach, I don't know the coaches. If I had to pick team, I would pick. I pick either Dallas Empire or San Francisco Shock. Best esports athlete. I see because Crim 6 is highlighted. I'll pick him. Best esports game. I would probably say, if we're talking about games that I've seen be streamed the most, I would probably say Call of Duty Modern Warfare is going to get the game. I think that is probably the most streamed game of the past 5 years. Just from what just from I see from YouTube alone. YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, all of them. I see more Call of Duty stuff. Plus, we have a lot of sports athletes playing this game. Tons of them are playing it. But let's go through this list and try to see who should win what. Okay, first one. We're gonna start off with most anticipated game: Elden Ring, God of War sequel, Halo Infinite, Horizon Forbidden West, Resident Evil Village, Breath of the Wild sequel. Okay. If I'm being honest, I think. So let's limit the ones that I don't think are going to win. I don't think Halo is going to win. I think Halo. The reason Halo isn't going to win in my book is because Halo, you announced the game to come out as a launch title. You drop one trailer for it. It gets ramrodded. It gets right to the coals. And then you say the game's going to drop in 2021. You don't give a date, not even a season. You say 2021. So I don't think that game is going to be is anticipated. Like it didn't look good. It would piss everyone off if Halo Infinite won based on how it looked. Because out of all these games, pretty well every we've seen footage for every game except for Elden Ring and the God of War sequel. If Halo won, that would be a slap in the face of the gaming community. But then again, who knows? I don't think Resident Evil Village will win. I think Resident Evil is a niche community. It's not a hype enough game to make people go buy a system to play it. Horizon Forbidden West is kind of the same thing. It's a really good game. I think that game is better than Resident Evil in general. But I don't think that game is going to push people to. It'll be a console pusher. But I don't think it's going to be the big game of next year. And then Elden Ring is iffy. So it comes down between the two. It's coming between Nintendo and Sony. Yeah, Hades. It's on the Switch. I'm gonna look for that now. I was playing it on someone's PC. I'm gonna find it on the Switch. Apex is streamed a lot, but I don't trust Apex to win it. I think if you look at the amount of people that play Apex versus people that play Call of Duty Modern Warfare, it's a big difference. Okay, but let's look at this list. Keep the stream somewhat so I can see what everyone's saying. I think it comes down between Breath of the Wild 2 and God of War Ragnarok, which they have it as sequel, which I don't know why. But I think it's going to be God of War Ragnarok. I think if you look at how that game pushed the genre of what God of War pushed the idea of what God of War is into a different territory, I think that game is going to be amazing. The reason I won't give Breath of the Wild the win is because I think Breath of the Wild map is essentially just the exact same game. It's the exact same game, just maybe one or two additions. I think God of War sequel is going to be different. If you had not checked out my article on jteslanerd.wordpress.com, I think we're going to have a lot more. I think the game will be kind of like The Last of Us 2. Before you start, shut up. I think where you take more control of Atreus and not Kratos. Especially if you've beaten God of War, you know why that's a big thing. I think that game will be the most anticipated game of the year. And I wouldn't be surprised if over half this list shows games at the Game Awards. I would not be surprised by that. Especially God of War, Horizon, and Breath of the Wild. I think we can get all three of those before we hit July of next year. God of War might be a November game. But I think for sure Horizon and Breath of the Wild will be shown. God of War might show us a little bit of footage. Content Creator of the Year. I'm gonna go with Alana Pierce. I think she doesn't get a lot of love for what she does in the game community, but I love her. Best debut game. I'm gonna go with Mortal Shell. I think Mortal Shell was a really good game. It's kind of that same thing as Elden Ring in a sense. Best multiplayer. Oh fuck. Okay, so right now, I know all this is a murderer's row of gaming. I will tell you that right now, because all these games are really, really good. All of them. But let's be serious, y'all. It comes down between Fall Guys and Among Us. It really does. It really does. And in all honesty, you couldn't go wrong with any game in this. I could see Animal Crossing sneaking up and winning this. And we're going to talk about Animal Crossing in a minute, but I can see Animal Crossing winning this award. I really could. You can make the argument for that Among Us is an older game. It only got popular because of quarantine. If we didn't have a quarantine to go through, would Fall Guys and Among Us be here? Animal Crossing would be. And so would Warzone. Best sports / racing. FIFA 21. I don't care if you are an NBA 2K fan. I'll tell you right now, 2K is trash. Compared to FIFA, 2K is trash. I understand 2K is played more over here in America and it's the hood game. But if we're being honest, the game that's the sports game, it's FIFA. It's FIFA. And I've been saying this for years. If you gave EA Vancouver the right, if you handed them NBA Live would be a year. NBA Live would be a deal. I don't think 2K is good enough. The last 2K I played, I thought was worth a damn was 2K15. It doesn't, like, from a standpoint of, I'm just saying, this is just me. When I play 2K, the shooting mechanic and the look of the players doesn't feel real to me. Like, I know it's a simulation, but like, the reason I like NBA Live, and I play NBA Live 19, that's the last one I played, that's the last one that came out. I like that more than I like any 2K games, is because NBA Live's ball handling is way better than 2K, in my opinion. In my humble opinion, I think it's better. But that's just me. So I think FIFA's gonna win that award. Best sim/strategy. I've seen Microsoft Flight Simulator get a lot of love, but I'm gonna go with Gears Tactics. Okay. Best family: Animal Crossing New Horizons, Crash Bandicoot 4, Fall Guys, Mario Kart Live Home Circuit. Okay, that's interesting. Minecraft Dungeons, Paper Mario: The Origami King. I think Animal Crossing is either going to win best multiplayer. They won't win both. I think Fall Guys is going to win that award. I think Home Circuit isn't popular enough right now to get the award. Minecraft Dungeons is a very niche game. Paper Mario didn't have the rollout everyone thought it was going to have, and Crash Bandicoot kind of got lost in the sauce with everything. Best fighting. Let's not play ourselves here. Mortal Kombat best fighting. This will be where Ed Boon comes out and he'll show off Injustice 3. Which, by the way, I'm making a plea. We need Constantine in that game. We need Constantine. We need Etrigan the Demon. We need the girl from Far Sector. We need the Batman who laughs. We need Dr. Manhattan. We need Dr. Manhattan, Wally West. There are a bunch of characters I can keep naming we need in that game. Put Alfred in it. The Alfred I'm thinking of is the Alfred from The White Knight. Put those guys in there. I'm trying to think of anyone else. Yeah, it's a bunch of characters to put in there. Put Big Barda in there. That would be really okay. Best role playing: Final Fantasy VII Remake, Genshin Impact, Persona 5 Royal, Wasteland 3, Yakuza Like a Dragon. I think Yakuza Like a Dragon is too new to win this award. Wasteland 3, I don't know anything about. Persona 5, I know people have loved that game. Genshin Impact and Final Fantasy VII Remake. Genshin Impact looks great. Final Fantasy VII looks great. I'm going to give this to Genshin Impact, and I'm going to explain to you why I give it over to Final Fantasy VII. But I wouldn't be surprised if Final Fantasy VII won this award. From what I can tell, and anyone that has played this game can attest to this, the reason I will give Genshin Impact, and I'll give any game, any award over I think they're done with MK add-on characters for this game though. You know what? I want to go back to that real quick. If they do announce Injustice 3, I want no Mortal Kombat characters in that game. I am done putting Mortal Kombat characters in Injustice and vice versa. It has to stop. I understand you're doing this for a pop, but we don't need it. Real talk, I wouldn't be surprised if the villain for this game is Perpetua from the comics. If you don't know who she is, that'd be dope. Hell, I wouldn't be surprised if the bosses for Injustice 3 are the Brothers 3, which is the World Forger, the Anti-Monitor, and the Monitor. I wouldn't be surprised if those are the mid-boss and Perpetua is the boss of bosses in the game. Well, I just hope she's not as hard as Brainiac was in Injustice 2, because God, he was hard to beat. Back to Genshin Impact vs. Final Fantasy VII Remake. The reason I won't give Final Fantasy VII Remake this award, and any award that involves game-wise, is because of this. It is not a complete game. I do not care what anyone tells me in this. We can have this fight until the end of time. A game that is, it'd be different if the game was it said Final Fantasy VII reboot, and then you drop the next one as Final Fantasy 7.5, and the next after that 7.8, and that was how you did the trilogy. You're doing it as remake part 1, as far as I'm concerned. To me, that does not deserve to win Game of the Year or Best Role Playing. I'm sorry, Best Role Playing. Genshin Impact, from what I can tell, is a complete story. I really wish anybody tell me why. Ain't nothing but a heartache. I know, before I get into the song. To me, Final Fantasy VII Remake does not, and there's a video I'm going to share on my page. I'll share it on my Facebook page, facebook.com/Tezla blog, that talks about Final Fantasy VII Remake does not justify itself to be just in Midgard. It doesn't. It doesn't. It just doesn't. That map alone is the map of Final Fantasy VII Remake is 1/3 of Assassin's Creed Valhalla, but is a bigger file size than Assassin's Creed Valhalla. That makes no sense. None. So I think Genshin Impact will win that. I'm looking for shockers here. Okay, best action adventure. Oh shit. Okay. Assassin's Creed Valhalla, Ghost of Tsushima, Miles Morales, Ori and the Will of the Wisps, which is a sleeper. Star Wars Fallen Order. Ooh. Last of Us Part 2. This comes down between 5 games. I think Ori and the Will of the Wisps will get lost in the confusion. I think The Last of Us Part 2. The Last of Us Part 2 will not win this one, because if you compare it to the rest of the games, all the other games in this list, if Ori is out, The Last of Us Part 2 is out right behind it, because if you compare Valhalla, Ghost of Tsushima, Miles Morales, and Fallen Order to Last of Us Part 2, Last of Us Part 2 is very story-driven. Once you get to Seattle in the game, you're not going back to the settlement. You're stuck there, essentially. If you look at Valhalla, Ghost of Tsushima, Miles Morales, and Fallen Order, you pretty much can travel to each planet. Like, once you, basically, okay, but Fallen Order, once you get past the first planet, that's the only place. Yeah, it's one of the 2 places in the game you can't go to twice unless you're playing a story version of it. Everything else on that game you can go back to. So Miles Morales, you can swing around the entire city. Ghost, you have access to. I think, yeah, Ghost is there. You have to unlock the island through story, but you can still go around. But you can still go around the entire map and beat the other songs in the game. I have to actually do that. Actually, I need to actually go back and fully beat Ghost. I beat the story, but I haven't beat the whole island. Valhalla's the same. Valhalla's map is massive, and we're gonna get into that when I talk about my games I'm playing right now. I think this one's gonna go to Ghost. Best action is interesting. Doom Eternal, Hades, Half-Life Alyx, Neo 2, Streets of Rage 4. Streets of Rage, when it came out, was really, really dope, but I don't think it kind of burned out for everyone. Half-Life Alyx, I don't think many people played it. This might come down between Hades and Doom Eternal, which is kind of funny. They both involve hell. I think Doom Eternal gets that one. I think Doom Eternal will get that one as a game. Okay, the next award. Innovation in accessibility. Assassin's Creed Valhalla, Grounded, The Last Part 2, Watch Dogs Legion. This is going to be the one award I'm going to want to watch because I want them to, because they're going to have to, Hyperdot. I'm sorry, I forgot Hyperdot. They're gonna have to explain each of these as to how it's innovative and accessibility. Watch Dogs Legion, I can guess what it is, and Last of Us 2 I can as well. Last of Us 2 made the game very open for people that have ocular and audio disabilities, and that's really important in gaming. And the video that they shared of the gamer that is partially deaf, or I'm sorry, not partially deaf, partially blind. No. That was one of the most heartfelt videos in 2020 I've ever seen in my life. But I can't remember the exact issue, but it was really it was. I felt happy for him being able to play a game that he enjoyed. That's what gaming is all about. I think Last of Us 2 is going to get that game. It's going to get that award. Best VR AR, I think. I'm gonna say it's probably gonna go between Half-Life, Dreams, and Star Wars Squadrons. I think one of those three will get that award. Best community sport. Community sport. That's a very interesting way to put that. It's Fall Guys. I think it's Fall Guys because I think everyone's not. Wait. Yeah, best community support. Ooh, yeah, it'd be Fall Guys. I think Fall Guys has the best community support. I think Apex, Destiny, Fortnite, No Man's Sky, and Valorant are taking Fall Guys. They've been on their shit regarding bugs and issues in the game. Best mobile game. There's no point even looking at that. It's Among Us. It's Among Us. Among Us is arguably one of the most streamed games in history. Between all versions of social media, Twitch, and everything like that, you can't go anywhere without seeing Among Us in some kind of capacity. Hell, the memes, the TikToks about Among Us. I can pull up a hashtag Among Us in TikTok right now, and I'll get over a million memes or a million videos on TikTok. Best indie. I think that's gonna be a tough fight. That's gonna be a tough one between Carrion, Fall Guys, Hades, Spelunky, and Spirit. I think it comes down between Fall Guys and Hades. They do. I don't think a lot of people play Carrion enough. Spelunky. Well, shout out to my homie Mike and the squad. I don't think people play Spelunky enough, and Spiritfarer. I don't think they play that enough either. Best ongoing Legends. Destiny 2, Call of Duty Warzone, Fortnite, No Man's Sky. I'm gonna give that one to Call of Duty Warzone. I think Warzone wins that one. I think Warzone is going to get that award. Games for Impact. I don't know enough about that. I don't know enough about that one to even make a decision on that one. But I'll just say I'll be happy with whoever gets it. I'm gonna watch the awards, so we'll see who wins it. Best performance. Best performance is going to be a fight. Ashley Johnson as Ellie, Laura Bailey as Abby, Daisuke Suzu as Jin Sakai and Ghost of Tsushima, and of course Ashley Johnson and Laura Bailey as Ellie and Abby. Last part 2. Logan Cunningham for Hades as Hades, Najee Jeter as Miles Morales and Spider-Man Miles Morales. Okay, with this award, it comes down to the first 3. And I want to get to that. I want to touch on who I think will win in a second. But I want to talk about the last part 2, especially Ashley Johnson and Laura Bailey. I hate people for what they did to those 2 women. I understand you not liking a game that was a good game. And I want to say this right now. For anyone that is a Last of Us Part 2 critic of what happened in the second game, I'm saying this directly to you guys. But anyone that has not played Last of Us 2 because they want to get a PS5 first and then play it, you don't want to be spoiled. I'm going to turn the screen off. See how it's off? I'm going to turn, yep. So I'll turn, yep. So my screen is black on mine. I'm going to go to spoilers about the game. I'm going to turn it off again, and it'll be safe. So it's safe zone. So in 3, 1, I'm going to shut the screen back on, and then we're going to go into Last of Us Part 2 spoilers. 3, 2, 1. Right now, mute your screen. sorry, yeah, mute your audio. Okay. The issue I have with people that hate The Last of Us Part 2. I don't get it. I don't get how people can hate this game for what the story was. If you watched the story from Last of Us 1, you knew from the jump when they announced this game, the decision that Joel makes in Last of Us Part 1 is going to directly affect Part 2. Hell, I wasn't surprised when it was shown that Joel died in the game. Go back and watch the footage of the first trailer for Last of Us Part 2. Trailers give away certain things in the game. When you watch that trailer and there's a shot, and I wish I could pull it up here, but I don't want to get copyright law on. Maybe one day we'll do it. But if you look at that trailer, there's a shot of the house that Ellie is in. It's looking from the hallway, and it's looking directly at the door. And it's a white light in the door. And then Joel just appears and begins to walk into the house. That kind of shot shows you that Joel was already dead. Not even showing his face, not showing his face, only showing his voice, not showing what he looks like, was a clear cut thing to say, yeah, he's dead. And something about his face is something that is driving Ellie to do this. And then finding out why he dies made sense. You kill someone's father, of course that's going to happen. Now, granted, I believe a lot of the hate that comes to it with The Last of Us 2 comes down to following things. In 2020, or just in general, people don't want to see female protagonists. They don't want to see strong female protagonists. And they, for damn show, don't want to see the LGBT, I hate saying this, pushed in their face in gaming. They want to say they're very inclusive to gaming in general, but don't want to see it. But once it's done, are like, well, no, I don't want to see that. That's not fair. That's not fair to anybody. You should be inclusive to all types of genders, especially in video gaming. Like you're literally picking up a controller and putting your mind in a made-up room full of made-up things. So let me get this straight. In a game where you're playing in a rundown version of Seattle, Washington, where you're literally dealing with zombies that have been taken over by a fungus and a militia in Seattle, the one thing you're worried about is a transgender boy. You can miss me with that. The game is good. It's game of the year. We'll talk about that in a minute. But the game does not deserve the hate it gets. And to say that she's a Mary Sue or anything like that is just ridiculously stupid. So now we're going to go back. I'm going to kill the camera again. So people that are not going to get spoiled, that they can come back. So kill the camera and we're going to come back. Okay, guys, you can come back now. Hope you weren't spoiled, but we're gonna come back for the rest of these awards. Okay. I think from a performance, I think it's gonna go to Daisuke. I think Daisuke gets it. I think Daisuke gets the award because no one saw that game being that good. I think he'll probably give the award to Laura Bailey and because of the depth that she got because of that game. Both her and Ashley Johnson. I think Najee Jeter. I just think Miles Morales came in too late, man. I think it did. I really do. But I think Daisuke will get it. I hope he does because that game deserves more love than it gets. I know it gets a lot of love, but that game is really amazing. Best audio design. I'm really surprised that Final Fantasy VII is not in this listing. So we got Doom Eternal. We got Half-Life Alyx, Ghost of Tsushima, Resident Evil 3, Last of Us Part 2. I'm gonna go with Ghost. I think Ghost gets this one. Best score in music. That's not even a question. Final Fantasy VII Remake gets that one all day. That's going to get that award. We're down to our last four. Okay. Best art direction. Ghost of Tsushima, Final Fantasy VII Remake, Hades, Ori Will the Wisp, Last of Us Part 2. Art direction. Look, as much as I would love to say Final Fantasy VII Remake gets this one, I'm gonna go with Ghost. I think Ghost changed Ghost was the first time we've seen a game like that in years, man. And I know people want to bring up Neo and what was the game that came out last year? Not Demon Souls. What was that damn game? What was that? What was that damn game? I'm gonna look at. Give me 1 second. Let me look at the game. But I think Ghost is gonna win that award. Let's see, because I know it was the same guy that made Dark Souls. From made the game. From Software made that game. Sekiro. I know people are gonna compare that to Sekiro, but I think Ghost has a better art direction than Sekiro does, without question. Okay, best narrative. Final Fantasy, was like 13 Aegis Rim, don't know who you are. Final Fantasy 7 Remake, Ghost of Tsushima, Hades, Last of Us Part 2. I'm gonna say it's either gonna be Ghost or Final Fantasy 7 Remake. Best game direction, again, Final Fantasy 7 Remake or Ghost. I think Final Fantasy 7 Remake is the popular opinion. Ghost is the better game. Which brings me to Game of the Year. I don't think Hades or Last of Us Part 2 will win it. I think if Last of Us Part 2 will win it, I will laugh my head off at how funny that will be. Because the trolls will be pissed off about it and they'll be in their Twitter feelings. But I don't think that wins Game of the Year. Hades, nah, I would love it. I think this comes down between Final Fantasy 7 Remake, Ghost, and Animal Crossing. I think Animal Crossing has a big enough pull to win it. Doom is interesting. I don't think Doom deserves to win Game of the Year, really, because Doom didn't get a lot of heat behind it once it came out. Sure, it was cool, but it wasn't like, I think it comes down. I think really Ghost. Okay, I would give it to Ghost just because of this. We knew we were going to get another Animal Crossing. We were going to get Final Fantasy Remake years ago. No one knew we were going to get Ghost of Tsushima to come out here and its first iteration be better than what? Be better than Sekiro, be better than a lot of Ninja games, be better than Assassin's Creed, which came out this year. I'm really surprised that game deserves Game of the Year. It really, really does. From a standpoint of what you can do in that game, the way you can customize your character, the way from the start of the game really has it to where you can choose how cinematically you want to play this game. The first 30 minutes of the game are the prelude, and then they get to the actual title, and they treat the game like a Japanese samurai movie. I think this game deserves Game of the Year. I'm not even gonna lie to y'all. I really, really do. So that's what I think of the Game Awards. I want to get into my last one before I close out for the day, which I think my video is kind of acting weird, but I've been off camera the entire time. Oh, my bad, y'all. But I want to get to my last topic before we get out of here, which is what I'm playing right now. So what I'm playing right now, I'm gonna have to go back and beat and fully beat Ghost of Tsushima. Animal Crossing for Game of the Year. Fight me. LOL, just kidding. Dude, I'm telling you, man, don't be surprised. Do not be surprised if I think Ghost will win it. I don't think Final Fantasy has much of a chance because, again, as I said before, I don't think a game that is only one portion of your overall story deserves to win Game of the Year. But I think Ghost should win it, which would mean Sony has had a run of video game award dominance with Spider-Man. Did Spider-Man win Game of the Year? I think Spider-Man won Game of the Year. I know God of War won Game of the Year, and Ghost will be the third game in 5 years to win it. What I'm playing right now, playing Spider-Man Miles Morales, one of the best games. I think it's from a story-wise, it's not better than the first Spider-Man game. I will say sound-wise, it's way better. I think they definitely tapped into what Miles Morales the movie was in this game. The villains aren't bad either. I'm also playing Ghost. I'm trying to finish the Ghost, but I'm really right now trying to beat Assassin's Creed Valhalla. And Valhalla, I'm almost done with Valhalla, but Valhalla is one of those games where it feels too long. Like, Odyssey is the longest game in Assassin's Creed history. Like, to beat the entire game, excluding the DLC, it's the longest game to beat. Valhalla is 5 hours shorter than it. That's why I can see that sound. No, not the soundtrack. The score. The score is amazing for that game. If The Last of Us 2 wins that award, will we be surprised? Really though? I mean, if we go back and look at the list, if we really look at this list, it's coming down between you have what? 3 PS4 games on there, one game that was on all systems, a Switch game, and then a game that was on PC and Switch. So I wouldn't be surprised if Last of Us 2 won, but would I be shocked? And do I think it's going to win? No. But yeah, Valhalla just feels unnecessarily long, and I don't know what it is about that game. Like, it feels way too long of a game for a game that shouldn't be. Like, I feel as though when Ubisoft goes back in the lab and makes another Assassin's Creed, which apparently is going to be soon, they need to start building out a three game arc character. I think the reason people are so turned off from Origins to Odyssey and Odyssey to Valhalla is there was story carryover, and trust me, especially with Valhalla might be the first game since I want to say shit. Yeah, Valhalla and Odyssey are the 2 games in a long time that have had ramifications on the entire series. You didn't have that. Rogue was still technically part of 3, which kind of tied into Unity a little bit. Syndicate didn't have that. Origins really didn't have that either. Yeah, I know. But I don't think. Yeah, Valhalla felt unnecessarily longer. Like, it feels like it drags. Like, the map is just ridiculously too big. Like, I get that you want to capture the look and feel of Norway and the look and feel of the UK, but my God, I don't want to actually be in the UK playing that. Like, when they say you're in Wessex, you're in literally Wessex. It's literally like the map looks small when you look at the map. When you're in the game, it's fucking ridiculous. Like, put it like this: if I start off at the border of a county, and I try to get to the halfway point, it's going to take me 10 minutes or more to walk there. That's insane. And I don't know, man. Like, I like the idea that Origins and Odyssey kind of had, where the map was all available to you at once. With this, in order for me to get if I'm playing Valhalla, I want to go back to Norway, I have to go to the map, then open up the maps in the game, and there are maps in this game. Then go to Norway's map, load that map up, then get transported to Norway's map, then pick where I'm going to land in Norway. Instead of me just getting in my boat, swim, and then sailing to Norway. You can't do that. So the game is long. I think the story is good. The story is a good story. When they said originally that there was going to be a reason as to why Eivor was both a guy and a girl in the lead up to this game, they explain why. And I don't want to give it away, but trust me, When I said before that this game ties into all the games of Assassin's Creed, all the games get tied into this one. Every last one. Back to Assassin's Creed 1. This game, that's how far this game goes back. In just tidbit and like little pieces of each game get put into this. So yeah, I'm playing that. I'm looking forward to Cyberpunk. I probably will watch every movie about it and see what it's about. But yeah, I think Cyberpunk should win next year, arguably, unless God of War just blows the fuck out the water. But we'll see. Yeah. So almost 7:00. I'm about to run and grab some food, maybe do some music work. I will check you guys next time. I think the next thing that's coming up is actually tomorrow. I'm gonna send a notification out for that what time we're doing that. But tomorrow is the DJ session, and that will more likely be around. Let me look this up so I can give y'all a quick little. So I can give you guys a quick notification when the DJ session is gonna start. I think we're gonna start that at. That one's gonna start at noon tomorrow. So we're gonna go from noon to about 1:30. Yeah, make sure sound is good and everything like that. So yeah, be here at noon tomorrow. We're gonna have our DJ session. Play a few songs DJ wise. Hopefully everyone likes it. I hope you all love this show. This is the first one, mini. The next Tezla video game corner is actually going to be. Well, technically, it'll be on next Thursday. Next Thursday will be the next video game corner, but that'll be the live reaction to the Game Awards. But the next game corner itself is going to be on Friday, December 18th. Hopefully, that's an early day, but we'll see. Again, I didn't put the times on my streaming schedule just because I have work and I have life, and I try to get to it as soon as I can. So. Okay, we have a question from the audience from a Mr. Joe PM313. What is your question, sir? While we wait for that, we have I don't even know I'm playing anymore in the background. Before we head out, this will be the last thing that we answer before I head out. Hopefully, he's writing it up now so we can see what this question is. So that's the show. I won't answer that one just yet, but maybe, possibly. 2020 has been a crazy year. Who knows? Maybe, possibly. So yeah. I've been Jay Tezla. Hope you all have a good night. Enjoy your Friday night indoors, please. And I will see you guys next time. Peace out. Much love to you.